Welcome back to another exciting, jam-packed episode of Mark's Side of the Ring. We got the three-man booth 2 weeks in a row. I think it's been 2 weeks in a row. Miguel Minetti here, alongside my boys, Nick and Fred. What's going on, gentlemen?
What's happening? Glad to be here and glad to talk some hell in a cell.
I think the more impressive thing is I've made 3 shows in a row.
You have.
Nick, 3 shows in a row. If you were betting the farm on that, you'd probably lose the farm. But
that just means don't count on me next week. No, I'm just kidding.
The Sid of Mark's Side of the Ring. That's what I'm.
We're honored that Nick has joined us for 3 shows in a row now. But I know he was real excited to talk about today's episode, which we're going to be breaking down this upcoming weekend's pay-per-view, which is Hell in a Cell, streaming live on Peacock, of course. The last pay-per-view in the Thunderdome, which I know I'm really excited about. I think you boys are excited about to get back to some good old fans in the building, right?
Uh-huh.
Final show final pay-per-view in the Thunderdome. Plus, we're going to talk about the long-awaited return of Eva Marie, and then, of course, we're going to have to sprinkle in. It wouldn't be an episode if we didn't talk about also the surprise return of Samoa Joe and NXT last night. So, got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to kick it off and go straight through. In fact, why don't we start talking about the Eva Marie and Samoa Joe, and then we'll kind of finish it off with the Hell in a Cell prediction. So, this past Monday, and I know we have been talking about this a lot, both on the show and offline, Eva Marie made her what we thought was going to be her long-awaited return to the ring, except when she was announced with her match against Naomi, when she came out, she actually was accompanied by an NXT UK superstar named Piper Niven. So she walks out with Piper Niven, and instead of Eva Marie being in the match, it was Piper that was in the match. So, Nick, I know you're a huge Eva Marie fan, so I'll let you take the first question here. What were your initial thoughts when you saw Eva walk out with this girl and ended up not being the one to wrestle in the match?
Well, you caught me at a bad time because it looks like Jacob deGrom is hurt again and has come out of the game in the 3rd inning, or in the top of the 4th. So I'm not in the best of moods right now. But it was exactly what I thought it would be. It was totally underwhelming. I think if fans were in attendance, it would have gone over like a fart in church, as JR would say. There was just really nothing great about it. She didn't wrestle. So, they tried this gimmick before with like the wardrobe malfunctions. If it didn't get over with the potential of her boobs falling out, I don't necessarily know how it would get over with a superstar who nobody knows coming in to take her place. So I just think it's a bad idea. And it just makes me go back and think of all the female wrestlers, Mickie James, the Iconics, and all of these different superstars that they let go to bring this girl in for this garbage yet again. It's not good for business, but they'll find that out the first live event that she's at, that it's not good for business. So I don't think the fans are going to take too kindly to her.
Brad, you have an opposing opinion. So what did you think when you saw this?
Well, I mean, to start off, anytime I get to see Eva Marie on my television screen, it's a good day for me. So I will say this. I mean, when these vignettes first started airing, I was like, that's weird. They're going to make her a baby face. I didn't think that would get over, especially at least when fans are back. And then as the vignettes started airing, I said, okay, this is a little over the top. It was like Kurt Angle's vignettes of being the American hero and the Olympic gold medalist back in the day. And, there had been some rumblings that Piper Niven was going to accompany her as like a bodyguard type thing. What they ended up doing with her wrestling in the match, I mean, sure, it's going to piss people off because you advertised Eva Marie and you didn't get her, but that's the whole point, to get heat on her because she's acting as if she won, but she didn't wrestle. So I understand it. I'm curious to see where it goes from here. I'm happy to see Piper Niven get a spot on Raw. I wasn't a fan of them not acknowledging her like they do Roman every Friday, but I just thought that wasn't good. It wasn't like she was working out at the Performance Center and hadn't been on TV, or even like I let them slide on the Omos thing, like when he was Shane's doorman. They didn't mention. I let that slide. They didn't General Aziz or whatever his name, Commander Aziz. He was Daba Kaba, whatever his name was in Raw Underground last year. Things like that. Okay, I let it slide. But Piper Niven's was a big part of NXT UK. So I know it's different, but still, I don't like they didn't acknowledge that at all. I thought that was weird. But whatever, it is what it is. I'm curious to see where it goes from here with Eva Marie. I am curious to see when she does actually wrestle. And to Nick's point, when the fans are in attendance, the plan is to get her booed, and I don't think they're going to have trouble with that. So,
my take on the whole not acknowledging Piper Nivens is, and truth be told, I'm kind of stealing this from Busted Open Radio because they did say this first, and I do agree with their take on it. For someone like Nick, I don't mean to call you out, but I don't think you've ever watched NXT UK. Is that safe to say, right? You've probably never seen it once, right? Right.
No.
So for someone like Nick,
I have not ever watched.
I stopped watching, but I used to watch it every week, but I haven't watched it since they.
That is the most believable thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
What is NXT UK?
It's the UK's version of NXT.
Yeah, it's another brand, but there are a lot of
Americans on it.
No.
There's a lot of talented people. I mean, people that are in NXT have been.
Are there UK people in regular NXT?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've moved them around like Imperium. Walter's their biggest one. He's been the champ forever.
So here's my point on this, right? For someone like Nick who's never watched the show before, it's okay, right? There's definitely a lot of people that watch Raw, in my opinion, or a good percentage of them, we'll call it, that don't know who Piper Nivens is. But what's not okay, which was kind of insulting, is that Dave LaGreca even said, and I agree with him, someone like Jimmy Smith, who just became a wrestling fan again, and of course he's calling Monday Night Raw, he might not, it's okay for him not to know who Piper Nivens is, but he said for Byron Saxton and Corey Graves to not know who she is when they're company guys, they've been former wrestlers, and they've been with the company for a decade. Like, come on, they know who she is, storyline, and of course in real life. So it's kind of insulting our intelligence a little bit for someone like those two to not acknowledge who she is.
Well, and I think it's insulting to the NXT UK brand.
Yeah,
because it makes them look like they're not important, right?
That clearly goes to show Vince's motto is if you haven't wrestled on Raw or SmackDown, you haven't made it, right?
And, I think too if they did reference her, okay, sure, people like Nick don't watch NXT UK. Even me, I don't watch it anymore. I mean, I see what happens sometimes. I used to watch it, and it just was too much, whatever. But maybe certain people like Nick, if they said that's Piper Nivens from NXT UK, and they like Piper Nivens, now they may be like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll check out that NXT UK. It just, in my opinion, I think they should have referenced it, and maybe they will down the road. I don't know, but I thought it would
have been good cross branding
for sure. Exactly, but I digress.
We'll see where that part goes. I think the more important question is: are they doing this Eva Marie gimmick where she's going to basically have Piper Nivens do her work every week, her dirty work, right? Never get in the ring. And then, of course, take credit for all the wins. I don't know if you saw on social media afterwards. And I do like that a lot of times they are staying in character when they do social media. Eva Marie put on Instagram that she was trending worldwide, right? Now, her trending worldwide was probably not for good reasons, to Nick's point, right? A lot of people are already starting to get heated, but as Vince McMahon has once famously said, any press is good press, right? And the one thing about the Eva Marie character is she may not be a fan favorite by many out there, but her name is being talked about. I mean, we're talking about her literally on our podcast right now. Nick, do you agree with that statement or no?
No, not in this case, because it's kind of like, it's kind of counter argument to the whole Bill Goldberg stuff. And, like you said, people... When I was bitching about Bill Goldberg being on TV, you made a comment that somebody who's never watched wrestling in a long time and stuff like that saw that he was on it and it intrigued him to a point where he wanted to watch it. I think this, in a negative light, will turn people like me who are, watch it from time to time. I follow along. I do this. I have no interest in watching her, so I'm not going to put it on. It's not like I'm going to say, oh, my God, this girl's getting booed so bad, I got to see what it's all about. It's not getting over. It's not going to get over. I understand Fred's point. She's beautiful. Great to look at, but unfortunately, as Bruce Pritchard would say, the bell's got to ring sooner or later. And when she's not in the ring and they hyped it up, and I don't think people wanted to see her in the first place, only bad can happen from this. I don't see her being, if you're saying right now, gun to my head, 1 year from today, is Eva Marie on the WWE roster? I would say no.
So here's the only thing that I'm thinking, right? This is just hypothetical. I haven't read this. I haven't heard this, but I was thinking about this. What if over the next 6 months or so, they establish where Piper Nivens is getting over because she's doing all the ring work, right? Eva Marie is her so-called manager, hogging all the credit, and then eventually leads to a split where Piper Nivens just absolutely destroys Eva Marie, right? Like a slow build. I mean, that could help someone like her get over, don't you think, Fred?
Oh, 100%. And I hope for Piper Nivens that is something that does eventually happen.
So maybe that's why Eva Marie was brought back, was to bring someone like a Piper Nivens. And
I mean, let's be honest. They didn't bring her back to be main eventing WrestleMania with Charlotte Flair. It is what it is. But she does bring an audience, and to, most men that maybe not are watching and are flipping the channels, and they scroll across USA Network and her fine ass is strutting on TV, that they're going to be like, oh, hang on a second, let's see what this is all about.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
That would be in 1998, or 1996.
Right. Well, she's not having bra and panties matches.
You want to see a hot woman? Just go on Google and type in hot woman.
Yeah, but it still sells to this day. I mean, they're not going to put her in gratuitous situations.
Look, I'd much rather watch her than this. What's the girl's name? Jeremy Piven. What's her name?
Nice. Piper Nivens.
Piper Nivens.
All right, so I would much rather watch Eva Marie than her. But that being said, I just don't see it going for very long. And I think as soon as fans come back, it's just not going to be good.
Okay, well, it remains to be seen. It's an interesting take on there. On the contrary, though, Nick, I don't know if you had a chance to watch NXT last night or if you saw the highlights of it, but did you get a chance to see the video of Samoa Joe coming back out, returning last night?
I did, yeah. So I watched it. I'm happy he's back because I like Samoa Joe. I guess I need more information to base an opinion. It looks like they're going the route of when Stone Cold left the company, in the storyline. I guess it would have been 2003 where he was fired as a GM and then came back, or maybe 2004. Irrelevant. But anyway, came back as a sheriff and, couldn't touch anybody unless he was physically provoked first. So it looks like that's the route they're going. I'm disappointed in the fact that I want to see him fight. And I know that, we talked to Tim, Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets earlier today, and he said he definitely thinks he's going to fight at, the takeover at SummerSlam, which is cool. But to me, Samoa Joe should be a champion, or he's a champion caliber guy. He's not like a once in a while, specialty guy. So am I happy he's back? Yeah. Am I happy he's back in the way that he's back? I need more information. If he's hurt or he truly wants to be a part-time wrestler, then good for him. He's earned it. For the part-time wrestler. If he's hurt, then I feel bad. But I want to see him wrestle. And I want to see him wrestle a lot, and I like him, and I think he's very good. So, hopefully he finds his way back into the ring. Hopefully this is just a way to kind of ease him into the storyline. But right now, I got to say I'm cautiously optimistic. Let's call it that.
I was pretty impressed, Fred, when they did the backstage after immediately him coming out and speaking with Regal and kind of being, as Nick pointed, the sheriff to William Regal. Pretty much almost the very next scene after the opening match was that Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly were being pulled apart by Regal, right? And security. All of a sudden, Joe is there to help with the pull apart, and Adam Cole kind of gives a light shove to Samoa Joe, and Joe kind of looks down at his chest to where Cole shoves him and says to himself, all right, well, I was provoked, and immediately puts Cole in the Coquita clutch. Were you surprised that he got physical almost immediately?
I was, because when they first did this, so at first I wasn't, I was happy to see him back in any capacity and, have him on the show, but didn't want him to really be GM because to Nick's point, I want to see him wrestle. With that being said, we don't know his clearance status. He had the concussion issues. There's a reason that he wasn't wrestling, and he was on commentary. I do rather him in this role than on commentary, but I still didn't think he was going to get physical, or at least not much. And boy, was I wrong. I mean, right away he got physical. So I am optimistic in the sense that if he wasn't cleared, I don't think he would be doing any physical activity, to be honest. So we'll see. I hope it does lead to him wrestling down the road. If not, I do rather him in this capacity, like I said, than in the commentary capacity, because at least he is more of a character and he is getting physical. So we'll see where it goes. But I was very happy with what went down last night. I thought it was cool with the swerve. We thought he was going to be GM. He says no. Then I got really excited and thought, okay, he's going to wrestle, and then it wasn't. But still, it was. I thought it was well done, and it has me intrigued to see where it goes from here.
And just one quick final note on NXT last night. Karrion Kross is an absolute star.
He's a star.
This guy is.
I like him.
Star.
For the little bit I've watched of him, I like him.
NXT last night as a whole show was one of the best. I mean, to me, it's good every week, but it was one of the best shows in a long time.
I truly think they may have found maybe not their biggest next star, but one of their biggest stars.
Oh, they found their WrestleMania main event in a few years.
They absolutely did. Karrion
100%
a lot of places.
With her and the gimmick and the entrance and the
total package.
It's a total package.
Not
Lex Luger either. It's good shit. And
all right, let's move on to the Hell in the Cell predictions. We got 5 matches here that are official as of today, and we're recording this on Wednesday. We'll see if SmackDown adds the last match or so, but we're going to kick it off with the match that I know Nick is definitely most excited about, and that's...
Wait, before you say, can I guess what it is?
Yeah, if you didn't hear me say it already.
You're tongue-in-cheek making fun of me being excited for Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke against Natalya and Tamina?
If that was a match, that's not on here.
It's not a match, but...
Oh, really? I thought that was one of the matches.
No.
But I will say this. I enjoyed the way they did that angle on Monday. I thought Raw was a very good show.
Yeah, Raw was definitely better than it's been.
Yeah, and I like that. It was cool. It was different. The way they were doing the photo shoot that extended into them practicing in the ring. That it was well done. It was outside the box a little bit. Anyway, I digress.
So the first match, though, which the match I was referring to, Nick, is Alexa Bliss versus Shayna Baszler. I figured you were most excited for that match. So we got Alexa Bliss for taking on Shayna Baszler. Alexa Bliss has been doing her hocus pocus, for the last few months, and I know some people can kind of take it or leave it type of deal, but she is nevertheless taking on Shayna Baszler. Fred, I'll ask you first. Who do you think wins this match, and how do you think this thing goes down? You think it's going to be a regular match, or you think it's going to turn into hocus pocus again?
I think it's going to be hocus pocus. I think it's going to be reminiscent to her and Orton at Elimination Chamber, but maybe not because she's facing a woman. Maybe not as much, but I think we will see some.
So you don't think she's going to straddle her to pin her in this one?
I wouldn't mind if she did, but no, I don't see that happening. But we'll see. I do think we're going to see some shenanigans for sure. This storyline, I'm happy that Shane is in a highlighted role somewhat. I like Bliss. I'm happy for her. I think she has been doing a phenomenal job with everything she's been given. She carried the Randy Orton-Bray Wyatt feud. Well, Bray was out from December to March. So I'm gonna say Bliss is gonna win this because of the shenanigans.
Okay, I like it. Nick, who do you got?
There's two people WWE does not know how to book for. One of them is the Fiend Bray Wyatt, and the other one is Shayna Baszler. So
Well, I'll agree with you for the Fiend because that poor bastard has been getting the shaft.
give me Alexa Bliss. There's no way they don't know what they're doing with Shayna Baszler. There's no reason why she shouldn't be the female Brock Lesnar.
So,
You know what I would like to see is Alexa try and do some shit, and Shayna like goes nuts on her and bites her like she did Becky Lynch.
I know that was
Make Shayna that friggin' animal again, you know?
I don't know. Fred's wanting to see some straddling and some biting. I don't think he wants to see a wrestling match.
Connie, my boy. No, I just
Oh, Connie. And Nick, you think this is a straight up match, or you think it turns into some shenanigans?
Shenanigans.
Okay, gotcha.
shady shenanigans, as Eric Bischoff likes to say on his podcast.
Yeah, I'm going with Alexa Bliss as well too. I don't think she's lost since she's been this new Alexa Bliss. I think she may have only had 3 or 4 matches, but I'm pretty sure she's perfect in a perfect record right now.
And I'd like to see her go after the women's title after this.
That would be interesting. It'd be out of left field, that's for sure.
Whether it's Charlotte, which we'll get to, whether it's Rhea, either one I think would be a great match. Charlotte and Alexa, and Rhea and Alexa, I think both would be really good.
Well, that was going to be the next match I'm transitioning to. There's actually 3 women's matches on this pay-per-view, and the next one, as Fred just alluded to, is for the Raw Women's Championship. Mm-hmm. We got Rhea Ripley, who's the current champion, taking on Charlotte Flair. Fred, what's your predictions for this one? Are you excited for this match? You think?
Well, this is a hard one for me. I am excited for it. This was a match we thought we were going to get at WrestleMania, and due to whatever issues, it didn't happen, and it worked out with Rhea and Asuka. So I'm kind of in the middle because I want to say Rhea. I don't think that they should end her reign yet. I like to see her have a strong reign following her WrestleMania victory. With that being said, with the fans coming back, one thing I'm holding up hope for is a Becky Lynch return going into SummerSlam. And I see Becky and Charlotte as the match. I could see Becky and Rhea as well. I think I referenced on this podcast either last week or 2 weeks ago, Rhea going through everybody and then being like she had no challengers, the 0-1-2, and how comes Becky Lynch. So they could do Rhea and Becky as well. So I'm going to go with Rhea. I'm going to go with Rhea. I think Rhea should get the win. They need to make women stars. And I think Rhea continuing on her reign helps that. She got the rub at WrestleMania, the big win. She needs a run.
I feel like this match, we've seen it before. I know we saw it at WrestleMania, and I know last pay-per-view was a triple threat. But, Nick, you looking forward to this match, and who do you got for the W?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the matches on the card, I think this will be a good one. I think I agree with a lot of what Fred said. For a lot of the reasons Fred said them. I mean, I think, with SummerSlam coming back soon, not next month, but the month after, and with, live fans coming back, I think the money matchup is Charlotte. She's obviously the sexier name when it comes to, who is more marketable. I think that, in WWE's world, and I agree with Fred, they need to build new stars, but I think in WWE's world, winning the title at WrestleMania makes you. And it doesn't matter what happens after that because you'll never lose that. You'll always have that. She won a belt at WrestleMania, and nobody could ever take that away. And I think that's good enough for them to think that she's over. If I were booking, I would have Rhea Ripley win. But I do think that WWE booking is heavily in favor to Charlotte, and I also think that when it's all said and done and all the dust is settled, Charlotte will have more world title wins than her father. And in order to do that, she needs to win the belt and lose it. So I think that she is going to win the belt. Charlotte, that being pronouns pal, and I think that she will. She'll take it into SummerSlam against hopefully Becky.
Isn't it interesting? You said before that once you win the belt, you've kind of made it, right? But kind of to that point, isn't it interesting that Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair both won at WrestleMania, but Bianca feels like so much bigger of a star than Rhea Ripley? right? It's just crazy to think the booking they've done with Rhea versus Bianca Belair.
Well, I think they're different characters. I mean, Bianca Belair has way more charisma. She main evented a WrestleMania. I don't want to say she beat the bigger star, because I don't think she beat the bigger star, but I think it was a bigger win beating Sasha, who's arguably one of the best female wrestlers.
I mean, yeah, she definitely had the bigger win. I mean, it was the main event. They had an amazing match. Not that not that Asuka and Rhea didn't, but compared to Bianca and Sasha, it wasn't. So, yeah, I think Bianca has been, given more of a platform. I think ever since Charlotte's return, that's kind of been the highlight. Don't forget Charlotte returned the Raw after WrestleMania.
Sure, yeah.
So I think that became the bigger story, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
So that's why a win for Rhea against Charlotte would be huge for her. So
it's interesting, though, because, Nick, you picked Charlotte to win this match, but Fred, you're going with Rhea to retain, right?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't read the odds or anything like that, but I would think, without looking at anything, because of course we're spoiler free, I would bet that the betting odds are having Rhea Ripley favored. To Fred's point, I'm just throwing it out of the box. Not everybody that's favored is going to win, so I do think Charlotte's going to win.
I'm going with Rhea. I think she retains, and I think if anything, Charlotte gets the W in front of fans and Money in the Bank to maybe set up Becky, Charlotte. I know they had a number of feuds over the years, but they've always been really good feuds. So I take Rhea to retain in the last Thunderdome pay-per-view and then see what happens next month if they maybe have a rematch or Rhea takes on someone else and Money in the Bank. But speaking of Bianca Belair, the SmackDown Women's title is also on the line. We have Bianca versus Bayley. To me, this is the start of what I call the no-brainer wins. And I'll just give my prediction right off the bat. It's going to be a hell of a match. Bayley's a great competitor. Obviously, Bianca's become probably their best star on the women's side that they've drawn in, that they made most recently. But there's no doubt in my mind Bianca Belair walks out then tonight or Sunday night with SmackDown Women's Championship. That I should say. You guys agree? Both of you agree?
Yeah.
On that?
Yeah. There's nothing more really to say.
I think the money match, and I know we talked about this last week, I think the money is the rematch between Sasha and Bianca at SummerSlam.
Oh, that's going to be huge for I'm assuming SummerSlam. That's going to be huge.
I would. I mean, smart money says put it in front of the 55 to 70,000 people that'll be at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
They had a freaking banger of a match at WrestleMania. Why not do it again?
I love rematches from WrestleMania that happen at SummerSlam.
And not just rematches, but ones that they have no connection or they don't touch at all between WrestleMania.
Right. It's only happened a couple times. We had it with Kurt and Brock in 2003. We had it with Eddie and Kurt in 2004. There's been a few, not often, where the feud didn't continue, and then. But I love that. I love when 5 months later or 6 months, whatever it is, here we are back again. So I enjoy that.
It's going to be a good match, though. But we all take Bianca to retain there.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the SmackDown side, the Universal Championship, because again, I think this is another absolute no-brainer. I guess it just depends on how the finish goes down, but Roman versus Rey Mysterio inside Hell in a Cell. Again, I mean, I would bet I would triple my mortgage to say that Roman Reigns is retaining the Universal Championship at Hell in a Cell, and I'm sure you guys agree as well. I guess I can ask this question, and we'll kind of lump both matches together. Do you think both Bianca and Roman both win in a clean finish, or do you think, well, I guess the Hell in a Cell match has no DQ, but do you think maybe there's a chance that the Bayley-Bianca match has a DQ finish, or do you see Bianca getting the W and Roman both getting the W?
Bianca's going to get it clean. Roman, because it's Hell in a Cell, who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic gets in there and the Usos get in there. I'm sure we're going to see something with Jimmy and Jay and that whole situation. So that finish might be a little messier. And not to make Roman look like he couldn't win on his own by any means, but I see some chaos But Bianca is winning clean in the
Nick,
middle of the ring.
What are your thoughts, Nick, on both those? Do you think they both win straight?
Well, I don't know if you meant DQ or if you just meant outside interference. There's definitely not going to be any DQs, but outside interference, yeah, certainly possible. But I don't think there will be any in the Bianca Belair match where she will win, and I do not think I think it's possible for there to be some in the Roman Reigns Rey Mysterio match, which I agree with you, Roman Reigns will win.
So real quick, we talked and I'm going to say Roman Reigns as well too. But real quick, we talked last week about the money match at SummerSlam being John Cena versus Roman Reigns, which I know we're all crossing our fingers and hoping for. If you guys were booking, would you do another just kind of layup match for Roman at Money in the Bank, or like if the first match back with fans or pay-per-view back with fans? How would you book Roman getting to SummerSlam?
So Money in the Bank is going to be an interesting pay-per-view because I was just thinking in my own head when we were talking about the Bianca and Bayley match and then Sasha coming back, like what does Bianca do at Money in the Bank, right? And I could maybe see Sasha coming back at Money in the Bank. And winning Money in the Bank and challenging, that's how she challenges.
Oh, like officially cashing in? I like that.
Right. So, it's funny. I don't know. I thought for sure Hell in a Cell they were booking Roman and Jimmy, and that's how they were going to get through Hell in a Cell, and that'll do that and whatever, and then we'll get to Money in the Bank. We'll worry about that then. But unless they do Roman and Jimmy at Money in the Bank, they could still do that. In the end, it's going to end with Jimmy aligning with Roman. We know this, just like it did with Jay. But I would like to see Roman versus Jimmy. And maybe they didn't want to put that in Hell in a Cell. I thought it would have been kind of poetic because of the match with Jay in Hell in a Cell. Now he's facing Jimmy in Hell in a Cell. But whatever. Yeah, the only thing I can honestly say, I don't see a rematch with Rey. I am happy that they're going with Rey. I think it's cool to see Rey in the Universal title match. Him and Roman are going to have a great match. Rey with anybody is a great match. So
I just thought of who Roman's going to face at Money in the Bank.
Who?
I'm not even looking. Just my own personal opinion. Dominic versus Roman at Money in the Bank.
That could happen. I mean,
not super believable as far as storyline is concerned, but let's say Roman destroys Dominic's father so bad inside Hell in a Cell that Dominic wants everyone's favorite word, retribution, at Money in the Bank, and we get Dominic versus kind of Roman Reigns.
Or you know what? Why not do something like? What if they do something cool where like, okay, so Roman, I think this would be very creative and really cool, and this is why I should write for them. So Rey and Dominic are the tag champs, right?
Yeah.
The Usos are going for the tag titles, right? They were going for them. Yeah. Roman screwed up the match because he didn't want the Usos to lose, and then Jimmy was pissed at that. What if now Roman and Jay go together and go for the tag titles against Rey and Dominic at Money in the Bank, and now that leaves Jimmy to the side, and Jimmy's pissed because now Jay is like kind of abandoning his brother and tagging with Roman going for the tag titles.
I like it, and I think maybe Nick will agree with what I'm about to say. I feel like in storyline for Roman right now, it's beneath him, right? I don't think he's going to be going for the tag.
Yeah, but they need, you know what? I wouldn't have him defend the title at Money in the Bank.
What if they do Dominic in...
That's what I liked about Brock, is he didn't defend it all the time.
What were you saying, Nick?
No, I like his point about the Brock thing. What if they do Dominic and Rey and John Cena against Roman and the Usos in a 6-man?
No.
Yeah, I don't think they're bringing John Cena back for a 6-man.
I don't want John Cena back.
They want Cena to be a heel.
I don't want Cena wrestling. I don't want Cena in that ring until SummerSlam.
He's not just going to come out and be a heel. If the rumors are true to be a heel, he's got to do something to be a heel. I'm just saying. We all know that Roman's going to win clean. We all know he's going to fight fucking Dominic the next month. We're just spitballing here.
Oh, you believe me? You think I'm accurate?
Well, where else are they going to go? You think they're going to start a brand new feud?
No, the only other thing I could see is him fighting Jimmy. You know, because Jimmy's been kind of like a tweener in the whole family storyline. He's like,
Yeah, but that's if
then he's
I
not.
don't see them only doing that for one match. So you remember how many times he fought the other Russo?
That's true. All right, yeah. All right, well then, kudos.
We shall see.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks.
Cut. Just kidding.
So that remains to be seen. I think now we're moving on to the final match, which I don't know if it'll be the actual main event or not, but this match is a lot more unpredictable in my opinion. That's Bobby Lashley versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship inside Hell in a Cell. Nick, you're shaking your head. No, you think it's predictable? You think Bobby Lashley is easily retaining the belt? I don't know, man. I think there's a chance that they might want to try Drew McIntyre with fans.
I think if they put the title on Drew McIntyre, they're going to get a negative response.
I can see that. I mean, yeah, I'm going to pick if I'm putting money on, I'm picking Bobby Lashley to win, but I don't think it's a layup like it is Roman defeating Rey Mysterio.
I think the only match that's not a layup is Rhea Ripley and Charlotte.
Rhea Ripley and Charlotte, yeah, I agree.
I think every other match is a layup. Well, I guess Alexa Bliss and Shayna Baszler is not a layup, but the two title matches in the big women's match, I think are all layups to me.
Interesting. Fred, what are your thoughts on Lashley versus McIntyre?
Yeah,
Last time ever, by the way.
Right. I'm 60-40 Lashley. Maybe 70-30, but it depends what's going on with SummerSlam. Honestly, all I know is until it doesn't happen, Brock Lesnar's facing one of those men at SummerSlam. It's a matter of who.
Preferably Bobby Lashley.
Well, no, I'm not going to say preferably. Because I want Brock and Drew in a rematch from WrestleMania in front of fans.
I do too, but I think the bigger match is Bobby and Brock.
It is. It is the bigger match, especially because it hasn't happened, and it's been a dream match for years.
Right.
Which is my point. They should maybe save that and have a lot of hype behind it. Say next year's WrestleMania. Not that they can't build a great match, within the month. They can, of course, and it's already, it sells itself. But I see Drew and Brock happening first before I see Bobby and Brock. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
I just think Bobby and Brock is the bigger marquee match.
No, you're right. I agree with you. It is the bigger match, which is why I don't think it'll happen at SummerSlam. They're going to save it.
Maybe.
That's why. Because I think there's more intrigue. It's like if they do Bobby and Brock now, and then because there's no way they're not, if Brock's coming back, there's no way they're not going to do Brock and Drew again. Right? So to do Bobby and Brock, and then do Drew and Brock in a rematch down the road, I feel like that's anticlimactic. But, who knows? Brock may not even be coming back, right? We don't know that for sure for SummerSlam. But I could see Bobby and Brock happening. I'm not saying it's not happening. So I do think Bobby's going to get the win. So I'm going to go with Bob. I'm going to go with Bobby, but I'm not certain that match with Brock will happen at SummerSlam.
Nick, what's the bigger match that you want to see more? Brock and Bobby or Brock and Drew?
I already said it last week. I don't want to see Drew anymore in the title picture. I'm tired of Drew. I'm part of the demographic that I think would boo him if he wins the title again. That match, we could see that match sometime down the road. It doesn't need to happen right now. They need to give Drew a break. He's seen the limelight for, let's face it, well over a year now at this point. He's lost some matches, but he's always regained the title, with the Orton thing. So I think it's time for him to step aside. I would rather see Bobby Lashley. I don't want to see Drew McIntyre win. I don't think he's going to win.
Well, those are our pick folks. For those of you keeping.
I'm gonna throw this out here though. So if Drew doesn't win and it's not Drew and Brock at SummerSlam, and it Drew. I mean, Bobby and Brock, which very well could be. Who does Drew face? Because Drew, and vice versa. If it is Drew, and Bobby doesn't win, who does Bobby face at SummerSlam? Because you neither one. I don't see neither one not having a big match at SummerSlam, right? So
I think it's more likely for Drew not to have a big match at SummerSlam. That's just my opinion. I think they're going balls to the wall with Bobby Lashley. So that's why the only reason why I think he'll retain is because
right.
they want him and Brock. That's just my opinion.
And then again with this match, they got to get through Money in the Bank. So who face at Money in the, whether it's Bobby, whether it's Drew, who do they face at Money in the Bank? There's a lot of questions in the air for sure.
Well, we'll find out very shortly. So those are our picks, guys. Make sure for those of you keeping at home, you keep us honest and let us know how we did.
Is that the Cesaro thing right there, Nick?
It was the Cesaro.
We got Nick Cesaro, doing a little the Cesaro there. Nick, as you take your last swig of beer, take us home, sir. Can you give us our final plugs for all the other good stuff that we have on the TruExact family?
Yeah, Sharp Bets and Fantasy Sets has been taking a hiatus, but we're coming back with fantasy football betting. We're going to be talking about different things leading up to what will be a successful fantasy football season for yours truly and all of you. If you want to listen, you can always subscribe and like on YouTube at the TruExact channel. All of our merchandise is TruExact.com, and I know that Scott and the gang are really super excited for Shark Week. I know they have a bunch of Shark Week guests coming down the line. So I think if you're a big Shark fan, you can be excited for that. And yeah, I mean, we love what we do, and we hope that you guys, love what, listening to us. I would say if you do, spread the word, always good. And thanks for giving us your time, as you always do on Saturdays, and we appreciate it.
Absolutely. We'll be back next week to talk a little bit more pro wrestling. Thanks, boys, for the time. Appreciate it.